guys, it's Randy. So I am actually recording this video on Valentine's Day. That is why I have like this kind of a pinkish tint to my eyeshadow. I'm wearing this pink sweater. I typically don't wear pink. I think there are a few videos where I am wearing a pink shirt, but all out pink with like, I even have like glittery pink eyeshadow on. Typically don't do that. My favorite color is red though, just as a side note. But okay, I'm all the way off track. So we're gonna go ahead and just get on topic. So someone asked me along the lines of how do I handle dealing with side effects with medications, and also how do I handle kind of that fear that comes with taking medications? Because I do know that we are sitting back at home and a commercial comes on about a different drug, or so to say, and the side effects at the end, it's like wild. It just kind of turns into someone is talking really fast and like really low, and you kind of hear like crazy things like, oh my gosh, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. So yeah, that definitely does have a fear that comes with taking medications. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and share just basically how I handle just that whole aspect of medications and side effects. So I would say the like most important thing that you should do when you are, even like if you're not taking medications, but if you're eating something new or just adding anything into your lifestyle, no matter what it is, it's just to monitor. And I mean that as in, so I'm going to talk about medications because that's what the video is about. So if I start to take a new medication, then I actually like to keep a log of how I'm feeling every single day, also what I'm eating that day, just trying to be as detailed as possible so that I know that if one day or I start to realize over a time frame that I am having like a said side effect, then I am able to reach out to my rheumatologist, tell them, hey, this is exactly what's going on, yada, 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 what should we do? And we're able to then kind of, because I guess sometimes people think that when you start taking medication and if something happens, or even you've been on a medication for a long time and you notice something new has happened and you're just like, oh my goodness, it has to be the medication. I have done it many times. But many times I have reached out to a rheumatologist and said, hey, this is what's going on, is my medication. And they're like, oh, what else have you changed or added or anything? And then I kind of take a step back, look at my little chart or my log that I have, and I'm like, oh, well, I did this 2 days ago. And when I did that same thing a couple weeks ago, I had the same reaction. So sometimes it's not the medication. Sometimes it's just something that we add in. So it's really helpful to kind of keep like your head level about dealing with side effects when you know that you're actually giving yourself the opportunity to pinpoint if the side effect is from the medication or if the side effect is from something else. So yeah, I would say that's the biggest way that I handle my side effects. If I notice something is different, I message my rheumatologist right away. And if we do find out that it is from my medications, then we just figure out what we can do. I would say that if I notice a side effect and I'm thinking maybe it is for my medication, I won't just keep that to myself. Like I won't just like, oh, let me write it out or see if it'll go away. No, I am on it right away. And I feel like that's just a big thing. And it kind of helps me to not have like that fear or anxiousness when it comes to medications, because I know that if I notice something is changing, then I am just going to figure out what it is and figure out how we can stop that. And I just try to move as quick as possible. And also another way that I kind of handle that fear around medications is that I always get my blood work done. I make sure that I'm getting my blood work done. I make sure I'm reaching out to a rheumatologist and saying, hey, it's been so and so months. Do I need to get blood work done? Because typically like now we're in COVID, so I don't have in-person appointments. So it's just helpful. Like I know that my rheumatologist has many other patients and also many other things that they have to do. So it helps if I can also just kind of keep that log of when my last blood work was, and just so that I can just go and get it done. And it kind of gives me a sense of peace and a peace of mind just to know that, okay, nothing on my numbers are changing. So yeah, I think that that's really helpful too, because it helps to know that something is coming instead of just kind of like being blind to it and ignoring it and just not dealing with it. If you can get if you can get ahead of it and you can get in front of it, then more times than none, you're able to formulate a game plan and able to get everything under control and figure out exactly what it is so you can put a stop to it. So yeah, I think that I know for me that medications is just kind of part of what manages my RA, just for me personally. And that's just something that I have had to deal with since I've been diagnosed. And I genuinely just feel like that I know that joint pain means joint damage. And for me, I just don't want joint damage because I know it's irreversible once it gets to a certain level. And I just don't want that. And I don't want to have to deal with that. So I think for me to take medications just means that I have to be very proactive, and I have to monitor, and I have to write in that log every single day, no matter how much I don't want to do it, just so that I know I'm taking care of my body and I'm helping myself prevent joint damage. Now, I would say that when it comes to taking medications, I try my hardest to be on the lowest dose possible. And that's something you can talk to your rheumatologist about. If you are taking medications and you realize that, okay, I've been doing really well for X amount of time, then maybe you can reach out to your rheumatologist and say, hey, I've been doing really, really good. Is there any way we can go to just a smaller dose and just see how we go with that? Because that's happened. There have been times where I have been on just one medication, a time where I've been on 2 of them, a time where I was on 2 of them, but I was able to kind of cut in half 1 of them. And there's been a time where I've been just on 1, and then we added 2, and it just kind of fluctuates. But I would say that, like, since I started taking medications, I have not always just been on this great dose of medications from the jump. We just kind of go and ride the wave on what my body is doing and how it's feeling. Like for me personally, when it comes to the months that it starts to get colder, it's typically the time where I probably need to either up my dosage or just add some supplemental work. Just something else needs to be triggered or just altered a little bit. And then when I'm in the hotter months, like in the summer, or well, yeah, those are the hotter months, but when I'm in the summertime, then I am able to kind of trickle down a little bit. So yeah, it's just all about finding that game plan, all about monitoring, and just realizing like what is your biggest priority? Do you want to prevent joint damage? And if you do, then okay, how can you prevent joint damage for your specific RA? Because everyone's body is different. But yeah, I don't want people to have this enormous fear around medications, because really all it is just monitoring, staying on top of everything, looking after everything, and just knowing that if something starts to go in the wrong direction, then reach out to your rheumatologist right away and see what can be done to fix things. And I do know that just being on the lowest dose possible of medications for me is just, I love it. It helps me mentally and it just helps me emotionally, and I really just try my hardest to be on that lowest level. So if you always want to be on that lowest level, or you don't want to be on medications, then just understand, okay, what else can I add into what I do every single day to help kind of control my RA? Because there are many things that can control RA that is not just medications. But I do want you to know that if you do find yourself having to take medications, then just take every day, keep that log, keep that little planner, or whatever you just need to write everything down that you're eating, how you're sleeping, drinking water, everything that you've done for that day, just so that if anything happens, you're able to pinpoint exactly what it is and go from there. That is basically how I handle medications and dealing with side effects and everything that just comes with taking a medication. And of course, if there's anything in particular that you want me to touch on or you want to ask me, you can find me on Instagram. I'm rawarrior_randi, or you can email me at rawarriorrandi@gmail.com. And of course, I hope y'all have a great rest of y'all's day. Goodbye.